What's up, comic book fans? And welcome to Comics Icons. Now, JJ, what they call me. And today, we got the first issue of another new From the Ashes X-Men series called Exceptional X-Men. And if you missed how the Krakoan era ended and how we got to From the Ashes, then I'll put a link at the top of your screen to the Fall of the House of X playlist. And I'll put up a card at the end of the video as well. But the Krakoan era has officially ended, and most of the X-Men have gone their separate ways, and for some, new missions. But when we last saw Kitty Pryde, she didn't want any more to do with being an X-Man. So if you guys are ready to find out what can bring her back into the game, then you guys know what time it is. Let's get it. So we kick this issue off in the Bridgeport neighborhood of Chicago, with Kate Pryde and her new life just outside of her hometown. And since the fall of Krakoa, she's been pretty much keeping herself extra busy so she doesn't have time to focus on everything that was lost. And right now what's keeping her busy is her bartending job and bottomless brunch. And more specifically, these mimosas and micheladas, which are kicking her ass at the moment. But her boss notices how hard she's going, so she forces Kate to take a break. Much to the dismay of Kate, though, who doesn't want any time to be alone with her feelings. And like clockwork, when she takes a few minutes, she begins to think about what she had become during the Krakoan era. And she gets hit with some major anxiety. But she's then able to focus on something else, mainly some rats eating a hot dog, which makes her snap out of it. But back inside the bar, once she gets back to work, she overhears a conversation from a couple of brothers about mutants and how they called themselves gods. And for Kate, she's lucky because she looks like a normal person, even though she can walk through walls. But not every mutant is so lucky, and some of them are just normal people with odd appearances that are just trying to survive. And it almost makes Kate sick that she'd rather live amongst those that hate her than among the shattered remains of the life she once knew. But after her shift ends, we pick up with Kate as she walks in the door to her home that she shares with a childhood friend. And when she walks in, after she's jumped on and embraced by her roommate's dog, Kate can't help but to just plop right down on the couch after a long, hard day. Now, her roommate understands what it's like to be tired after work, but she's not for letting her homegirl lay around depressed and invites Kate to come and hang out with her and another friend. But Kate turns down the offer. She's not interested in being a third wheel, and she chooses to instead stay home and watch some TV. And after her roommate leaves, Kate initially does what she says she would and watches some TV. And even sees a report on an event involving Cyclops from issue 2 of his X-Men series. But Kate does have a date tonight, believe it or not. She just didn't want to tell her roommate about it because she knows it would have become a big thing. But it's a concert from her favorite band from high school. And when she goes out, her roommate texts her, happy to see that she went out. You see, Kate had forgotten to turn off her location on her phone. But as Kate waits at the venue for her date, and the time just continues to pass, she determines that she had been stood up. But then she notices that this crowd is way younger than she'd have expected for a nostalgia concert, and realizes that she got her days mixed up, and her concert date is actually tomorrow night, when she's actually supposed to be at work. But since this is her only night off, she decides to go ahead and enjoy her night anyway, and check out this band to see what today's kids are into. But then Kate notices a young girl that gets turned away at the door by security. The guard had let her friends in but denied her entry, even though she has a ticket. And her friends, meanwhile, chose to go inside anyway, leaving the young girl alone to fend for herself. And then the security guard decides to get physical with the young girl, pushing her away, angering the girl who's revealed to be a mutant and decides to fight back. And as Kate watches all of this unfold, she's actually impressed by the young mutant. But Kate's days of jumping into fights are over with and she chooses to walk away. But as she heads off, she hears a gunshot, and now she can't help but to go back and check on the young mutant. And when she gets to her, the security guard is just about to fire again, and this time directly at the young girl. But Kate is able to grab the girl just in time for the bullet to phase through her. And then Kate takes the girl and they phase through the concert venue. And once they get inside though, they're now still on the run as security searches for them, leading Kate to phase them through another wall that actually ends up being the security room and now they're surrounded. But y'all know that ain't enough to keep Kitty Pryde down, and she phases through one of the guys and then takes his weapon before phasing out of there and back outside, and then again phasing through a few more buildings before finally getting to Kate's car. And when they get in the car, Kate gives the girl her ID as collateral so she'll feel comfortable riding with Kate. But then she has the girl put her address into the GPS and they take off. Meanwhile, on the drive, the young girl is just completely embarrassed by everything that just went down. She'd never been involved in a fight before, and now everyone just saw her turn into a monster, which she feels she'll never recover from. But Kate consoles her and tells her that she will indeed recover, and that she's not a monster. She's a mutant and she should be proud, which helps the girl change her disposition. And in fact, she thinks that Kate handled herself pretty well back there. And if that's what being a mutant is, then that's pretty cool. Then she asks Kate where she learned all of that strategy from. And Kate tells her that she learned it from her school, but then questions if the girl has any other mutant friends. But the young girl does not, with the exception of Kate, who she really hopes can be her friend. But when they finally arrive at the young girl's home, they finally introduce themselves, which seems kind of backwards, but it was an intense situation, so I guess I understand. But the girl's name is Trista, and she thanks Kate for the ride and for saving her. Then when Trista goes inside, we meet her grandmother, who stayed up late. But Trista's grandmother notices that something is wrong with Trista, and she gives her a huge hug. She knows that Trista's a mutant, and she sees all of the nasty things they say about mutants, and she just finds it all terrible and unfortunate. And she tells Trista that she comes from strong people, and if anyone bothers her, then she needs to give them hell. Then we pick back up with Kate as she gets into bed and she wonders what it was all for. Everything the X-Men did, and everything they lost, only for this kid to deal with the same old trash and almost get shot for wanting to see a concert. But the next morning, her roommate has to wake her up before she's late for work. But before Kate leaves out, she sees a package that was left for her at the door. And inside, it's a thank you care package from Trista, which is enough to make Kitty shed a tear. Then at work, Kitty's boss notices the new earrings Kitty's wearing, and now her mood seems to have changed from doom and gloom. And then we get a little epilogue to this issue when we pick up with Emma Frost, who's living it up as usual. And while she's living in a lap of luxury, she checks in on all the other mutants to see what's shaking. And initially she doesn't find anything worth her time. But then she sees Kitty and is intrigued as she responds that Kitty may be able to run away from the X-Men, but she can't run from Emma. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the issue. So what did you guys think of the issue? I gotta admit, this is one I was looking forward to. Mainly because I like Kitty Pryde as a character, and the fact that it's set in Chicago, it has my attention. But I thought it was a pretty good start to this new series, and I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes. I wasn't the biggest fan of the Krakoan era, although I know a lot of you guys were, but I like the mutants back to dealing with everyday life issues. But you guys know I want to hear all about what you thought about it, and where do you see it going? And as always, if you guys enjoyed this video and this channel, and you'd like to support the channel, then you could do so by stopping by the Comics Icons store and pick you up some of this Comics Icons merchandise, including the background music heard right here in this video available for download. Or by joining the Iconic Fan Club channel membership, and there'll be a link in the description to join. But with your membership, you'll get loyalty badges, member shoutouts, and up to 20% off of Comics Icons merchandise from the Comics Icons store, and even the chance to pick a video of your choice for me to post. Plus, we've got tiers to the memberships as well, beginning at just 99 cents. Or you guys can donate to the channel with a super thanks. And if you're not able to do any of that, then you can still help this channel's future out tremendously by dropping a like, share, and subscribe in the Comics Icons for more icons in the comic book world. But ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time. I'm out. Peace.